You're gonna go to the boardwalk.
It's like buzzing from something like that.
Yeah. Good to see you. It's the spouses that suffer the most. Yep, he got me already. So anyway, Bruno, okay here yet? Bruno?
Bruno's right there. And I don't know if Matt, I saw Matt walk in.
Oh, they're there.
Level up. Okay, and we're all ready to proceed. Okay, I call this meeting to order. Good evening, all. I'm Alex Tarquinio, the National President of the Society of Professional Journalists. And on behalf of the board, the staff, and all of our hard-working volunteers, I want to welcome you to Excellence in Journalism Conference in San Antonio. We have a lot of business to get through today. This is actually a working meeting. It is not only a journalism conference, but as many of you know, this is our SPJ National Convention. So in a few minutes, you'll be hearing from the candidates for office, but first, I would like to hand you over to our parliamentarian, Bob Becker, who, as many of you know, is also our SPJ Bylaws Committee Chair, and he will be explaining how the voting process works.
The annual convention of delegates is the supreme legislative body of the society. Delegates to this convention are charged with responsibility for providing. Is it not on? I wasn't. Okay, sorry about that. Are required providing direction to the society as it seeks to serve best interests of its members and of all of journalism. In 2011, delegates to the National Convention in New Orleans approved a bylaws change that transforms the way we elect members to our national board. In the past, candidates were selected by chapter delegates. Now elections are inclusive of all members, one member, one vote. However, the Society's processes for bylaws changes, which we will have this year, and resolutions, which we will also have not changed. The delegates are the individuals who consider these important resolutions and changes, and that they will make the decisions that govern how SPJ's agenda is set up. The bylaws of the Society require that the business meeting of the Society be run by Robert's Rules of Order. In interpreting those rules, both today and at the business meeting on Saturday, I will assist as parliamentarian. As we get started today, I want to review the convention's voting procedures for bylaws, amendments, and resolutions. Voting is done by chapters and regional delegates. Each chapter, in good standing with the national organization, received votes based on one vote for each 50 members or fraction thereof of its chapter. Regional delegates were assigned based on unaffiliated, meaning members, national members who are not members of chapters in the region. Also, one vote for 50 members or unaffiliated or fraction thereof. Each delegate has been given a voting card with the number of votes assigned to that specific delegate by his or her chapter or for the region. If any delegate did not receive a voting card or has a question about the status, see Carolyn Escobar, Manager of Membership and Chapters. You will need to have your voting card during the next business meeting on Saturday, or you will not be able to vote. Before I turn the meeting back over to Alex, I would just like to make one brief announcement, which is the Bylaws Committee will have tables on Friday and Saturday, Friday at 2 to 4, Saturday from 9 to 11, at the exhibition hall to assist your chapters if you are working on chapter bylaws. We will have copies of the model bylaws, and we will assist you in any way we can. Now I'll turn it over to Alex.
Thank you very much, Bob. And I also have to say I love when speakers make good use of prompts. Okay, so now it is my duty and my pleasure to introduce the nominations report. I will now present the nominees for the 2019-2020 board. You can read their full bios at SPJ's Election Central, which you can find on the front page of spj.org, or through a direct link in the EIJ19 app under the EIJ19 Information tab, or at the bottom of the SPJ Business Meeting in the schedule here. First of all, I will be introducing the slate. For President-elect, we have two candidates, Matt Hall and Michael Koretsky. For Secretary-Treasurer, we have two candidates, Andy Schatz and Rebecca Aguilar. For at-large Director, we have 6 candidates for 2 open positions. And the 6 candidates are Lauren Bartlett, John Brewer, Yvette Davila Richards, Michael Savino, Yvette Walker, and Haston Willis. 6 regions also have candidates running for regional coordinator this year. They are Jamie Baxley and Stephanie Overman for Region 2, Michael Koreski for Region 3, Joe Radsky for Region 6, Dawn Myers for Region 10, Deb Kroll for Region 11, and Jennifer Ellis for Region 12. Now, in accordance with SPJ's bylaws, all members of the society in good standing at the date and time balloting begins are eligible to vote for officers and at-large directors. Members will receive an electronic ballot via email at the close of today's business session. Do I have a motion to accept the committee's report of nominees? Okay, Rebecca Baker, do I have a second? I did not see who that was. Can you call out your name? Excellent. Okay, excellent, thank you. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any nays? Any abstentions? Okay, the motion is approved. Next, we'll proceed to candidate speeches. And candidates in contested races and the president-elect candidate are encouraged to give up to 3-minute speeches. We'll begin with our president-elect candidates, and we do these in alphabetical order by last name. So our first candidate will be Matt Holm.
Hi, everyone. Is this thing on? I'm Matthew T. Hall. I'm the editorial and opinion director of the San Diego Union Tribune, and I've been a national SPJ board member since 2014. I was president of San Diego SPJ when it won the National Chapter of the Year Award in 2015, and I was board member of that chapter when it won the award again in 2018. I want to be president-elect of the national board to help lead an organization that we can all be proud of. After a difficult year, I'm pledging stability, civility, and transparency. I want to help put SPJ on a path to a strong, strategic, inclusive future, and I'll involve all of us to get it done. Now, how do you know that I will do that and that I will get it done? You can go to my website, votehallspj.com, or I can tell you a short story. Or you can do both. I got into journalism because of my dad. I come home and find him in the paper. As a kid, I wondered why he'd rather read that thing than play with my brothers and I. As a journalist, I wanted to demand attention like that. I understood why he was so engrossed. He wanted to understand the world around him, to know more about his community so he could make it better. That's what I try to do every day. My dad helped shape my career. We talk about journalism advocacy. We talk about the news whenever we talked. Last year when I ran for secretary-treasurer, I called him during these long walks I went on every weekend. By then, he'd been diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, and both of us looked forward to those weekend calls a lot. We didn't get enough of them, and there were far too few during this campaign. He died the Sunday after Easter. My brothers and I were with him and our stepmom in his Boston hospital room those last few days. He couldn't talk, didn't open his eyes. I talked to him anyway. I told him I loved him, and I said we would take it from here. The day before he died, there was a shooting inside a synagogue near San Diego. A woman was killed, an 8-year-old girl injured, a rabbi's finger shot off. Because it's what I do, because it's in my DNA, I decided to edit our editorial about that shooting, working by my dad's bedside, my family's halting conversation, his uneven breaths, and my keyboard strokes, the only sound in that room. My dad would have wanted me to send that message of resolve and unity that day, to be there for my family in our hospital room, and to be there for my community 3,000 miles away. Hours after our editorial posted online, he drew his last breath, and words cannot describe the difficulty of that day's balancing act of seek the truth and report it and minimize harm. I balance that to lesser degrees every day. I will do it for you as your president. So now to my 3 pledges of stability, civility, and transparency. Let me add family. As president-elect, I'll treat every member of this organization as family. I will listen, lead, and make difficult decisions and describe them to you in detail as I've done tonight. My dad always told me, surround yourself with good people. Dad, I did. This is a serious time. We need serious leadership. Vote for me, and that's what you get. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now, our second candidate for this office is Michael Gretzky.
When I was first elected to this board in 2008, SPJ had 9,650 members.
Can't hear you. Can you use the microphone?
What?
Can you use the microphone? Can't hear you.
I'm seldom accused of not being loud enough. When I was first elected to this board in 2008, SPJ had 9,650 members exactly. Do you know how many members we have today? Less than 5,800. We are losing a member a day. So let's do some data journalism. Since the media apocalypse, SPJ has lost 37% of its members. Weirdly, the Pew Research Center says newsrooms have lost 28% of their employees. So just to stop our slide, we need to recruit more members, but here's the weird thing. Using BLS and SPJ data, we can show that SPJ, even in its heyday, never represented more than 6 to 9% of all the journalists out there. Just to stop that membership slide, we need to double that number, which we've never, ever done. And we have to do it in a shrinking market. So how are we going to do that? Well, the answer is we're not. We need big, bold ideas, because, and those ideas might fail, by the way, but doing what we're doing now is definitely going to fail. I had a big idea last year, and it failed. Before this delegation, I wanted to rename SPJ the Society for Professional Journalism and allow anyone to join that supports our mission, much like you don't need to be a woman to be a member now. I lost, which is just fine, but the way I lost is not fine. A former SPJ president stood up here and called me a con artist running a con game, as if my idea was somehow a scam. Now, I wasn't allowed to defend myself, and no one else defended me either, which is okay. I'm a journalist. You know, nothing's worse than a thin-skinned journalist. I wasn't offended, but I was a little freaked out because for any other SPJ has any new, fresh idea, they're not going to want to propose it to you. That's really weird because there are 3 past presidents, Dave Carlson, Robert Ledger, and Matt McCarroll, that all, since I was told this board, please do big, bold things. You know what we did? We tweaked annual report requirements, and we appointed 3 long-range task forces. One of them is meeting on Saturday. So this is a really weird campaign speech, I realize, but here's the thing, I don't want your vote. I don't want the job, I don't want to win. I am running just if I can be here to do this. Please adopt this as your new motto. Try, fail, try again, and fail better. I know this is a really weird thing to do, but we're living in really weird times, so I just want to ask, SPJ is bleeding to death, what the hell are you going to do about it? Thank you.
Don't worry, the cleaning crew will come through. Moving right along. We have 2 candidates for Secretary Treasurer, and once again, they will go in alphabetical order by last name. So up first is Rebecca Aguilar.
Hi, everyone. How's it going? Okay, look, live. Here we go. So I'm Rebecca Aguilar. I have, I decided recently, because of the NHJ sponsorship box controversy. I want us to have a relationship with NHJ. And I hope to build on that. But first, let me tell you about my history with SPJ. I joined in 2009. I was recruited to join the digital committee. And I love that committee. I was their vice chair eventually. And then in 2010, I stood before like 200 voting delegates to talk about the saying illegal aliens and illegal immigrants. And several members said, hey, look, there's no problem, let's just use them. But understand, I am the daughter of undocumented workers. Turned green card holders, turned one American citizen, father passed away before his. But I remember I've gone before you guys and telling you my story, and you listened. And I thought, this is an organization that, despite I look at all these white faces, you listened. And you gained my respect, and I went back to NHJ, they were like, this is awesome, and I thought I needed to be here. So I eventually became the vice chair of the diversity committee. And you guys have always been great, vice chair. Sorry, yeah. And so, you know what? I didn't listen, you were there for me. But in the meantime, I joined the Fort Worth board. And thank you, ladies. Kay, Kim, Betty, they helped me grow as a leader there. In fact, I went to them and said, hey, why don't we have Spanish language entries? We can make some money. And they're like, okay. In 2012, I also helped put together the EIJ conference with NHJ. I'm the one that took it to all these, the president, and like, let's do it. So we united. I'm one that gets things done. In 1 year, I revamped the diversity program. It was a mess last year. You guys would have been proud of it. But Alex said, do it. In 1 year, we had 21 applicants, you guys. Awesome people. Let me know when I have 3 seconds. I'm a former TV person, so I know time. You know, I have a lot of ideas. I want to grow money. I mean, I have ideas. I say adopt a member. And why not adopt a diversity member? We want color. Let's go adopt people. I think we do that. I want to help patch up the relationship with NHJ. We need each other. That organization needs you and vice versa. But more than anything, you need new blood. You need diversity on your board. You need people who are willing to speak up when there's bullies. You need people that are not afraid to say, hey, you know what, enough is enough. We need leadership here. And I want to be your voice, not just for Latinos, for all of you. I get things done. I proved it to her in 1 year, I can do it for you. Oh, I got 4 seconds. That's a lot of time. So I would appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Rebecca, and I do want to apologize for the noise in the midst of that. I don't know who our neighbors are, but fortunately someone told them to turn down the sound. Okay, our second candidate for this office is Andy Schatz. Please come forward.
Hi, I'm Andy Schatz. I'm an editor for an online news site near Washington, D.C. When I joined SPJ in 2002, I had a devil of a time reaching my chapter in Maryland, which didn't respond to emails and calls. I ventured to the 2003 National Convention in Tampa just to find the elusive chapter leaders. They were pleasant, they promised to stay in touch, but back home, they went silent again. But I persevered. 16 years later, I am a 6-year veteran of SPJ's National Board. I was a chapter president for 3 terms, and I served 3 terms as Region 2 Director. I am on the SPJ Foundation Board and Chairman of the Awards and Honors Committee. For 3 years, I chaired the Ethics Committee, which sometimes drew the wrath of prominent news organizations when we challenged their practices. I speak up, and I'm a big believer in diving in and getting things done. Here are 2 examples. Until 2011, only convention delegates could vote in national SPJ board elections. The board refused to consider otherwise. So, relying on a petition process never used before, I gathered 10 SPJ chapters to bypass the national board and let delegates overwhelmingly pass the measure, giving us 1 member, 1 vote. 2 years ago, I came up with SPJ First Amendment t-shirts. Now we have walking billboards for press freedom across the country and in Canada. In 2 years, we've sold about 1,500, most of which I've packaged and shipped from my home. SPJ has donated $15,000 from t-shirt proceeds to help and honor victims of the Capitol Gazette newsroom shootings last year. I believe my experience, attention to detail, ability to work with anyone, and track record of getting things done are a strong foundation for Secretary-Treasurer. It's important to talk about what lies ahead. For SPJ, I believe it's a renewed focus on our members. It's not just whether they will join or renew, which is critical, but whether SPJ gives them what they need and, importantly, listens to them. I have fought for years to make SPJ business more open, such as posting recaps of every board meeting, sometimes with an explanation of my own take on the issue. I embrace, not evade, a coalition of dozens of SPJ chapters pushing national leaders for better communication and transparency. I am sponsoring a resolution for a new review process for conference sponsorships this year. Critics must be welcomed more as we work on a good solution. SPJ must focus on its core missions of ethics, FOI, First Amendment diversity, and a new urgency on media literacy. I ask for your vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Andy. Now we have 6 candidates for our at-large director. Again, there will be 2 winners for this position. There are 2 open positions. We'll hear first from Lauren Barth.
Experience, passion, and dedication. That's why I'm running for director at large. In these tough times for SPJ, we need directors whose resume shows not only concrete action, but also understand where we're at, so we can chart a path forward. In my 4 years on the SPJ board, I've led and followed my fellow directors on many important initiatives that range from big picture issues like ethics to governance issues like board transparency. My work in SPJ started long before my national board service. I was president of a college chapter when I was 18 years old, and I'm proudly wearing my 35-year membership pin today. I've served as president of a large professional chapter, as well as serving on and chairing several national committees. Through these experiences, I've developed SPJ contacts and friendships around the country. I've talked with members from both large chapters and small chapters, and those who, like me, are part of the 41% of SPJ's unaffiliated members. From those talks, I've learned what's important to our members around the country. Among the important topics to them is ethics, the cornerstone of SPJ. One of the things I'm most proud of is being part of the ethics committee in 2013 and 2014 that worked so hard together for a year on updating the code of ethics. That revised code was resoundingly approved by convention delegates. If reelected, I would increase media literacy efforts. With the president's attacks on journalists, journalism, and media organizations, we need to ensure that everyone from school children to senior citizens understand the difference between news and opinion. And knowing the difference between facts and propaganda is also crucial. Enhancing SPJ's good work nationally among journalists and the public as the authority on journalism matters is also important. And keeping the spotlight on the importance of ethics, which are crucial in an ever-changing media landscape. My past SPJ experience, understanding what works and what doesn't, and services in capacities makes me uniquely qualified to address these challenges. That's why I've been endorsed by 2 former SPJ national presidents, past foundation president, a former ethics committee chair, and 2 fellows of the society. As one of the past presidents said in his endorsements of me, I've always had the ability to cut through complex problems and offer sensible solutions. We need that now more than ever, and I'm asking for your vote to help me do just that. Thank you.
Thank you, Lauren. Up next is John Brewer. Okay, I didn't see it. John Brewer, is he here? Oh, oops. I'm sorry, I thought I'd silenced that. Oh. Okay, well, once, twice, no John Brewer. Okay. Then moving right along, we'll hear from Yvette DeVilliers. Tyler Richards.
Hi, everyone. It's good to see you. Faces I don't know. That's the beauty of working journalists, we're always interacting and networking. So again, my name is Tyler Richards, SPJ at large board member. I'm also a Deadline Club Executive Council board member, which I'm proud to be. I'm a working journalist also. I work at Fox News Channel. I'm a regional assignment editor on the national desk in New York. And so when that whole NHJ, SPJ, or TNA thing happened with Fox, it touched me because I'm an employee, so I really couldn't voice my opinion, but at the same time, I had a lot to say. And that's one of the reasons why being an at-large director, I'll make sure to help bridge that gap so that we can be able to take next steps as to how to make that work better. Because even though we had to let that go, and we didn't actually, just the fact of how it went down wasn't appropriate, but that's just my opinion. I've been a Deadline Club member for 2 years. I've been at-large director for the past year. And I'm also a former NHJ board member. I started the local chapter. Then I went up to regional director, and my last position there was vice president of broadcast. I had led one of the most successful regional conferences in New York as a regional director, where we brought members from across the country to CUNY's journalism school, where we had professional development workshops, recruitment. We had a lot of sponsors come through and hire a lot of our students and a lot of our members. And that's one of the things that I've always been about in terms of championing not just for diversity, but championing for jobs for our members, championing for connections. As a board member, we have the luxury of meeting executive presidents where we can make sure we interact and connect our students and our journalists with where they wouldn't have that opportunity to do so. My mantra is this: I want to increase diversity. I want to increase membership, and I want collaboration between all the Alliance partner organizations. We need to collaborate more. We need to make sure we bring members from all the organizations, NHJ, NABJ, AEJ. It's a journalism organization for all. We need to let them know about the resources that we provide at the table. And that's one thing I've been telling people all across the board. I'm also known to get the job done. You ask me to do something, I will fight tooth and nail to make sure it gets done. I'll set up a team, we'll brainstorm. It's not just about me. It's about working collaboratively to make sure that we get the job done and we listen to everyone's ideas. Because at the end of the day, if we don't work together, nothing gets done. It's just chaos, confusion, and bickering back and forth, which is what we don't want. We want this organization to shine. As vice chair of the diversity committee, that's one thing that Rebecca and I did, was make sure to let people know that we want our fellows to be the ambassadors of SPJ, so they go out to the other organizations and let them know, hey, SPJ works. SPJ is who you need to join. So vote for me, and I'll make sure to make this happen.
Thank you for that. Our next candidate to speak is Michael Savino.
Hey everyone, I'm running for re-election to the board. I just joined the board this past year, and I'm sure you're all aware of this being a very important election, not just for the numbers that Michael Koretsky laid out, but also the fact that we're in a transition. We're shifting down to a 9-member board, so it's important that we make sure we have the right people on the board, and I feel that I should be among those people. I have a long history of advocating for the industry in a number of ways. I'm a past president of my chapter. I'm currently the president of the Connecticut Foundation for the Connecticut Council for Freedom of Information, which in Connecticut is the top lobbying group for FOI laws. Just this last year, we were able to block legislation that would have limited access to voter records. We also blocked legislation that would have greatly limited transparency of the criminal justice process. So we've had some success in recent years. Connecticut SPJ. We helped a couple of years ago get an anti-SLAPP lawsuit that was just tested for the first time this year. A reporter who runs her own website was sued by a candidate for office over a story that was completely factual, and she was able to get it dismissed. It would have basically brought her under if we didn't have this in place. So I have a long track record of advocating on behalf of the industry. I think that's probably why in April, editor and publisher included me as one of the 25 newsroom leaders under 35. When a colleague of mine had a toy thrown at her by a state representative in the House chamber, I was by her side demanding that her caucus leaders take action, and they did very quickly. Just this last year, when the governor kicked a reporter out of his office during a bill signing that the reporter wanted to cover, I was the one who called for a meeting with the governor's staff to work on making sure reporters had that access in the future. So I have a long history of advocating for my colleagues, for SPJ. I'm working with other organizations in my state and with educators trying to do media literacy and help rebuild trust. So I'm working on a number of issues that I think are obviously in this organization, and I want to be part of those conversations at the national level, not just at the state level, because this is such an important time for an organization that we all love so dearly. So I'm going to put a vote. Make sure you vote so you know. Thank you.
Okay, our next candidate is Yvette Walker.
Hi, everyone. So last year, I stood before many of you in Baltimore and asked you to take a chance on me for the at-large director seat. And, well, you did. You voted me in. Many told me it was the passionate speech that won me the seat, but this year, I hope you believe that it's my record as well as my speech that's going to sway you. So, hi, I'm Yvette Walker, Yvette with a Y. We have 2 events going on this year. That's crazy. And I am the assistant dean at the University of Oklahoma, Gaylord College of Journalism and Mass Communication. I am the SPJ advisor at OU. Before that, I was the ethics chair at the University of Central Oklahoma, and before that, for many years, maybe too many to count, I'm a veteran journalist. I have worked in journalism for quite a long time. I have been a reporter, a copy editor, assignment editor, news editor, front page editor, just, been in the business for a while. So like I said, last year I told you I would work with the board to do some things. So clarifying SPJ's focus, telling its own story, recruiting new members while retaining existing ones, and asking those hard questions: what makes SPJ important and different from other media organizations? How does SPJ cut through the noise of those who criticize media, and how does it energize and identify with today's journalists? And I quickly found that you can't do everything in 1 year. But I've been pretty busy in that time. I worked on 3 committees, chairing one. On long-term strategy committee, I worked with my fellow members to discuss a plan to take SPJ into the future, and specifically, I helped drill into the survey responses that you gave us for a report that was unveiled today and will be online at spj.org. I served on the education committee, where the Press for Education program is doing very well under the capable watch of the committee. And I chaired the 110th Anniversary Committee, which came up with a plan to celebrate more than a century of advocacy for truth and a free press. And because, who doesn't like a little fun? In honor of the anniversary, our committee created a Spotify playlist that you can listen to. Just go to Songs About Journalism on Spotify. By the way, not all the songs are complimentary to news, just as flavorful. I also worked with author Fred Brown this year to update our ethics textbook, which we published in the fall. So as you can see, it's been a busy year, but my job's not done, and that's why I'm here asking you to do that in. We need to hire a new executive director. We need to continue the work of the strategic plan task force to help us go to the future we need to go, and we need to make SPJ the organization that you believe represents you. And so I know we've seen some turmoil this year, but I can promise you, I always keep a cool head, and I'm looking toward the future best.
Thank you. We have one more speaker for this position for the two openings for Avalanche Director. Please do this.
I believe in the Society of Professional Journalists. As you know, SPJ is the nation's oldest and most broad-based journalism association, celebrating its 110th anniversary in 2019. My personal journey with SPJ began in 2014 when I attended the first ever meeting of SPJ Georgia. Since that day, I've been a local committee chair, board member, and chapter president, and today I serve on our National Freedom of Information Committee and freelance community. Since 2016, I've also been a successful full-time freelancer, which I guarantee you would not have happened without SPJ. I'd be honored to give back by serving you, Director at large. My goal is to help strengthen SPJ. There are 4 ways I see us doing that. The first is to continue to protect freedom of information. Through our FOIA committee, I will help ensure government duties take place in the open. Second is to strengthen relationships between SPJ's national, regional, local, and hyperlocal levels. This includes representing our at-large members not belonging to a local chapter, which is one of the primary tasks for directors at large. All members on my cell phone at 770-862-4926, or they can email me at haston.willis@gmail.com. If you aren't sure how to spell Haston, I've got a few more of these campaign battles. I'm going to give you one after this meeting is over. The third way to strengthen SPJ is by telling stories, including our own stories. Too often, journalists are verbally attacked, put on the defensive, and forced to talk about what we are not. It's time to talk about what we are. We are the state. We are the only industry prominently named in the Bill of Rights. We are Woodward and Bernstein. We are Julie K. Brown. We are the Pentagon Papers and Spotlight. This is the message we need to convey to the public. Lastly, we can grow our membership by confidently showcasing the great work we do and the values we espouse, including journalism ethics and professional development. It's no secret that SPJ and journalism broadly are experiencing challenges. That's why it's more important than ever that we support and listen to each other, and that SPJ is here to advocate for the great work being done by journalists across the country. The time has come for new ideas, renewed focus, and, I think, a new face on our national board. My goal is to make SPJ's next 110 years even stronger than the first 110, and I humbly ask for your vote in this effort. Thank you.
Thank you, Hasty. Finally, we have our candidates for Region 2 Coordinator, where we have a contested election with 2 candidates. First up, Jamie Baxley. Okay, is Jamie here? Jamie Baxley? Jamie Baxley? Okay, I'll take that as a no. Our final candidate is Stephanie Overman.
Just because I'm running for Region 2 Coordinator doesn't mean the rest of you are safe. I want to point out that I have been not only a member, president of the Washington, D.C. chapter, but a member and president of the New Jersey chapter, a member of the New York chapter, a member of the LA chapter, and a member of the Ball State University chapter. I am really good at getting chapters to work together. I have had super regionals where we all went to Pennsylvania from Region 1 and Region 2. I think I'll do a good job of twisting arms with this chapter to tell you that I do that. And the new board from the region to vote for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie. Okay, a few just details about voting. Your delegate information sheet contains information about submitting resolutions for consideration by the convention. Our resolutions committee chairman is Michael Semino. You heard from him earlier, but Michael, you stand up just so people can see you. This is our resolutions chair this year. If you or your chapter has a resolution you would like to submit and you have not done so yet, you have until 10 a.m. tomorrow. So please do so by emailing Michael at michael.a.savino@gmail.com. Or you can just call him after this meeting to talk to him. Okay. Before we adjourn, we have some awards. I'd like to take a moment to present awards to our chapters around the country for their hard work. SPJ's Circle of Excellence Awards honors chapters both large and small in the following categories: First Amendment and freedom of information, student relations and scholarship activities, activities promoting diversity among journalists, and professional development and continuing education programs. Please join me in recognizing the chapters for their efforts. To the winning chapters, please come and receive your plaque. Okay, for professional development and education, the Society recognizes the Chicago Headline Club as the large chapter and Las Vegas as the small chapter. Please come forward. Is there anyone here from Las Vegas? Okay, we will hold that aside for them. I think this group has the largest one. I'll hold it out one at a time. In the category of freedom of information, the large chapter winner is the Chicago Headline Club. And the small chapter winner is Bluegrass. Okay, we'll keep an eye out for them. Okay. Okay, for special efforts in the diversity, we recognize as a large chapter, Los Angeles. And as in the small chapter category, Minnesota. And lastly, in the category of student relations, the Society recognizes the efforts of large chapter recipient, New Jersey. Jersey in the house. Okay, there. And the small chapter recipient is Arkansas. And congratulations to each of the Circle of Excellence winners. Now each year the Society honors two chapters, a large chapter of 75 or more members and a small chapter of fewer than 75 members for their commitment to SPJ's mission and exceptional chapter programming. But this year, we have a few extra winners. This year there are 3 SPJ chapters who will receive the Large Chapter of the Year award. And the first to come on down is the Press Club of Long Island. Okay, next is the Chicago Headline Club. And Florida Pro. Okay. SPJ's regional directors and regional coordinators who selected the awards took the unusual step of choosing all 3 chapters and noted all had excellent and were worth the recognition for effective and innovative programming. Officers of each chapter may have accepted their awards after these highlights are read. We'll read these highlights now. First up is the Press Club of Long Island. I want to describe a little bit about why they won. They explored the public's perception of news media and issued statements supporting journalism, including the 5 employees killed at the Capital Gazette newspaper in Annapolis, Maryland. It also took an unusual approach to raising money for the committee to protect journalists by conducting a property reading at the birthplace of journalist Walt Whitman. In addition, it also reached the public through screenings of a series of journalism films with an FOI forum that included school district administrators and police officers. Judges also said its connection to college and high school students remained strong, largely through summer journalism institutes, one of which focuses on low-income communities. Please join me in congratulating the Press Club of Long Island for their efforts. And a few highlights of our friends at the Chicago Headline Club. We had hosted a FOIA Fest, a day-long exploration of various open records issues with experts' advice and data crunching workshops that is a statewide draw. The judges also said the chapter was strong in advocacy, public statements, and by monitoring legislation and in ethics, with its outstanding popular resource, the ethics license for journalists. In addition, it also has sessions on learning pivot tables, a form of filtering and sorting data, improving coverage of climate change, strengthening coverage of immigrant communities, and safeguarding sensitive data. Congratulations to the Chicago Headline Club. Our final recipient, Florida Pro, stood out its creativity and understanding of how to meaningfully connect people. It took up with a fake news game show, teaching non-journalists how news is gathered and presented. The chapter's version of speed Scrabble, fuck words with friends, showed what it is like to think on a tight deadline. The judges also liked the chapter's sunshine seminars at 5 sites across the state and mock press conferences in which MBA students were given roles to carry out on a corporate board facing a crisis. There was press journalists and PR professionals secretly embedded in the group. Judges also said the Florida chapter has established good ties with student journalists and organizations hosting and participating in sessions and conferences in the state of New York. For the first time, it also worked with elementary school journalists. Please join me in recognizing the Florida chapter. Okay. In the small chapter division, we have a runner-up, and the runner-up is St. Louis Pro. Some of the highlights of the year for St. Louis Pro were the Facebook training, despite a snowstorm day, for students and a First Amendment free food festival. The chapter has also established good ties with other nearby journalism groups. So please congratulate St. Louis Pro for their work there. And the winner of this year's chapter of the year, small chapter of the year, is Arkansas Pro, which is receiving the honor for the second year in a row. Some highlights of their work this year. Not long after the Capitol Gazette shootings, the Arkansas chapter explored what it was like to report in the face of tragedy. A former TV anchor recalled her colleagues having to go on the air to report the news of their friend's homicide, while other participants told compelling stories. The chapter sold t-shirts to raise $500 for the fund to help the Capitol Gazette. The chapter also held 3 public participation events focused on immigration coverage, police and the press, and freedom of information. It also held Get the Scoop and Check the Facts, a traveling ice cream school. The ice cream scoops away, the series visited several college campuses and covered topics such as cultivating sources. One of the chapter's events during Sunshine Week was a freedom of information trivia game for beer and pizza. The chapter is also helping to pay the cost of printing a state freedom of information handbook and is active in a state freedom of information network. The chapter's social calendar also included an ugly sweater mingling event and a membership meeting at a pie shop. How can you not love that combination? So congratulations to Arkansas Pro. I would also like to take a moment to recognize other outstanding chapters that they were not selected for chapter of the year. We do have some certificates up here. When I call your chapter's name, please come forward to receive the certificate. There were 2 finalists for large chapter of the year. First is Detroit. And the other runner-up is Washington, D.C. For small chapter of the year, we have 2 more finalists here. The first up is Inland Northwest Pro. Is anyone here from Inland? Okay, we will save that award for them. And there's Las Vegas. Okay, some people are still flying in, so we'll save the award for them. Okay, now in closing, you've heard the business items for consideration during this convention. Unless there are other business items to be introduced that should come before this opening session, we should adjourn on Saturday afternoon. Don't see any hands. Okay. Until, yeah, like I said, Lauren. I'm sorry? Yeah, we're going to, I have another thing to say before the motion, sorry. As a reminder, members in good standing will receive an electronic ballot via email at the close of this meeting, and voting will be open until 12:30 p.m. Central Time on Saturday. So in our time zone, if anyone's watching from home, make your adjustments. And we will see you all at the next business meeting at 1:30 p.m. here on Saturday. Don't worry, we're getting there, Laura. If there are no other announcements, I would like to entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting. Okay, I think Lauren. Did you say so? Okay, actually, I heard Erwin Fish. Lauren will be the second. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Oh no, never say. Going once, going twice. Okay. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Okay. Any nays, any abstentions? Okay. The meeting is adjourned. Thank you.